Welcome back to the Grow Your B2B SaaS podcast. Today I'm joined by Koen Stam, go-to-market operator at Personio, where he leads international revenue operations across multiple regions. And we're going to talk about how go-to-market strategy will change in 2026 and why SaaS companies must shift from people over process to process first, data-driven, and efficiency-led growth. In the conversation, Koen breaks down how founder-led, sales-led, and hybrid motions will evolve, the rising importance of RevOps, and why fixing your data layer is essential before applying AI. We will discuss the biggest challenges SaaS founders face when trying to become efficient, how to identify root cause problems in your go-to-market fabric, and why retention, expansion, and word of mouth will be the strongest growth levers in 2026. Koen also shares how he would build a go-to-market motion from scratch, the role of referrals and partners, and gives advice from going from 0 to 10k MRR and also going from 10k MRR to 10 million AR. So he's going to give it with focus, simplicity, and disciplined execution. So definitely make sure you're going to listen to this episode. Welcome to the Grow Your B2B SaaS podcast. Could you quickly introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Oh, damn. Koen, I'm a go-to-market operator. What I'm currently doing, working at Personio, HR tech company, leading the international operations. So in short, leading the existing and new business operations for the Benelux, UKI, Nordics, Spain, rest of the world. That's like one thing. I'm the most important. I'm a father of two kids, like 4 and 6. I'm also co-leading the chapter of Pavilion, which is just a community to bring go-to-market leaders together, ambassador at Winning by Design. These are, among other things, which I'm doing. That keeps me busy.
A lot of go-to-market in there.
I like it. Yeah, they say.
Well, we're gonna talk about go-to-market. So we're gonna look at the future a little bit. How do you see the go-to-market strategies change in 2026?
Yeah, I think with all the changes upcoming, and I don't want to always main AI, but I think we need to reinvent ourselves. Everyone is talking about it, like the SaaS natives, how we are structured among still a lot of people over processes. I think we need to swap that script into like, hey, processes needs to be key with as much efficiency among our people. I think that's like the biggest change. I think we really need to grow more sustainable and more efficient. And I think not most of the SaaS companies always done that. I think that is really requiring a transformation for leadership and founders.
Yeah. We're going to talk about efficiency in a sec. I kind of even want to talk about the motions. Like we talked about product-led, founder-led, sales-led. How do you see the motions going to change in 2026?
I think, again, it always depends on where you are in your journey. A lot of people are maybe or bootstrap below 2 million, right? Or they're on the way to 5 or 10 mil. Like that play is totally different than a play, maybe for myself. We are in the tens of million ARR, which at least my teams own. And we need to grow significantly above that number. So I think that play is different. We, for instance, at Personio, really have a sales play. It is a play cross-functional with our partners, with the ecosystem, with AI. It's really a mix of a lot of things. If you just want to bootstrap now, or you are growing towards 1 mil, 2 mil, etc. I mean, I really, really love the founder-led motion where you as the founder, you are the authentic subject matter expert voice. And I actually just had this conversation with one of the CEOs of Moneybird on like, hey, you have such an interesting journey, and I think they are in tens of millions of ARR. But still, I think your message could be brought towards your audience by founder-led voice. So I think it depends, but it needs to be more efficient. It needs to be still really being authentic and personal and specific, that the audience eventually really knows, hey, this is for me and not for everyone. I think doing better is even more important than doing more when it comes to emotions.
Yeah. And you mentioned efficient a lot, right? It sounds easy. You just need to do it more efficient. But I think what would be the biggest challenges for SaaS founders? Okay, well, I want to be more efficient, but how do they actually do it?
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. We talk about efficiency. How do we get to view where we are or where we are not efficient? And I mean, I already mentioned I'm ambassador of Winning by Design. I'm a big fan of them. I've implemented their models ever since 2016. And the fundamentals start with that. Like the data model, the bow tie, right? Map your entire customer journey per motion. So I have a sales-led motion, which brought me up to, 6 million ARR. Just really map from the early start awareness until the end, expansion, net retention. Where are the flaws in my system? Where am I currently not efficient? What do I think first I can improve or should improve, which will bring a bigger return on investment? and then nail down that part, really understand the root cause, and then understand like, okay, how are we going to fix that one problem in that entire, let's say, go-to-market journey? And I think that's like where a lot of founders and GTM operators go wrong is they talk about efficiency, they don't know where to start. And even if they know where to start, they just do way too many things. And if you fix a lot of things, I think in the end, you're fixing not at all, or you're fixing marginal. And I think the marginal thing is not going to help us out tomorrow.
Yeah. And we had Jacco on the podcast in the summary episodes. We had him before already. He always talks about seeing your company as a fabric hole.
Yeah, revenue factory line. Factory
line, indeed. Like, where does it actually go wrong, I guess, to figure out, like, what should you fix?
Yeah. And we don't know the root cause. Like, we don't know where to fix. Like, where are you fixing for? And that's, again, the thing. Like, you really need to understand the data. And I know, especially from smaller companies, maybe you don't have all that data, but having your data layer in place. And again, a founder or a small company, they don't maybe directly think about the RevOps function on itself. But if you, as a founder or a starting organization, and you don't have your RevOps in place, you see as well, like the more successful companies, especially AI native companies, they will hire a RevOps way faster than it typically was. Actually, I was speaking one of the more successful Dutch companies, actually, and they just recently promoted their RevOps towards a new CRO. And I think that says something about how important it is that you really understand your motion based on data, based on a data model.
Yeah, because in the end, we have so much data with AI, we can actually start getting more insights out of it.
Yeah. I think also one fundamental for everyone to understand, like, it's not AI who will bring us all the data. We need to really fix the fundamentals of our data house and the data lakes in a company. And then again, to the point, understand where you go to market motion, there are flaws. But on that flaw, you should not put AI. Because if you put a flaw on AI, it just multiplies what's going wrong, right? So I think that's really important. You really need to understand, like, from the data layer, what works. There you can amplify with AI. But you also need to fix the basics. And I think you need to fix the basics with processes and not with people or with AI.
Yeah.
So there are different approaches to fix your go-to-market and to see where you can fix stuff and where you can amplify and grow. I think these are two levers, right? There's also like top-line growth, or you can really make sure that your spend is more in the control. There are two growth levers.
Yeah, because in the basis for AI, garbage in, garbage out. So if the data layer is incorrect, you're not going to get the right insights. Nope. And when we look at, I guess, like go-to-market and I guess like all the changes which are happening, like where do you see the biggest change happening? Is it going to be acquisition, activation, expansion? Like where do you think the biggest changes will happen in 2026?
We need to understand that to acquire a net new customer requires a lot of investment, and we are spending a lot of money to still acquire this $1 of new customer. And I think we need to become way more efficient in our spend, in our way to grow net new logo. But the answer is maybe not only looking at the left side of the bow tie, meaning like the marketing, the sales, the awareness, the education, the selection. No, it's really on actually we have the gold already there. The gold is in the retention. The gold is in your customers. And how can you really leverage your customers or even your users just to feed back? And actually, we all know if we really triple down and we do a close-won analysis, we actually see that one of the key sources, maybe not always very well set in the CRM, but it's word of mouth. So really investing $1 extra spend into your customer base, making them happy. And I'm also a really big believer of the partner and ecosystem, and customers is part of that ecosystem. If you leverage that part, word of mouth will make sure that people retain, will expand more, which is also always a more cost-efficient spend of net new growth. And eventually that will lead towards new influx in your funnel because people will talk about you. And that's, I think, a really misunderstood thing. And that's not something you can solve with people. That's also something you can eventually solve with processes in AI. But definitely in your retention, in your entire play of your current customer base, I think there is some truth and gold which you can unlock. And I think that's like where people also need to look at, and not only like, oh, let's just do more, let's go abroad, or let's just spend another 100, 200, 500K on investments, on marketing, etc.
Are you already running an affiliate or referral program, but it's not really driving growth? Reditus is the affiliate and referral platform built exclusively for B2B SaaS. Combining an in-app referral program, an affiliate network of over 20,000 SaaS affiliates, and AI-powered recruitment that finds new relevant affiliates for you. Migrate for free with our white glove service. Affiliates can keep their link, and you can start managing both programs from one single place. With tracking, payouts, and fraud detection all handled for you. You can start building a scalable growth channel that compounds without high upfront cost. Want to learn more? Check out getreditus.com. Now, how do you make sure that people actually start talking about you? Because word of mouth is like, it's super powerful, it's super effective, but how do you actually make sure that people start talking about you?
First of all, you need to deliver a product that solves a specific problem for a specific audience. That will always do the thing. And that's the service, that's the product, right? That's the last tangible thing. That's just like the delivery. And for me, it's next to that is the people, is your team, is your service levels. It's the way you're helping your customers from a support perspective, making sure that maybe even next towards your own product or service, that you can deliver continuously value to your customer base. If you keep repeating that over time, that compounds. And yeah, I've seen so many examples of doing that. And it can be in the form of indeed really exceptional customer service from your customer success or your support department. That can be, I just one example myself last year, or like actually just this year as well, with one of our partners, we made a impact award show for our HR. We are selling towards HR. And just by recognizing those who are typically not recognized enough and shine a light on them without doing any commercial stuff from our side as Personio in this case, people feel heard, people feel recognized, they are open up, they feel that they can be vulnerable among their peers. And that's, of course, the event and community part, right? And I don't have to ask them then to send a message towards their colleague, towards their peer on LinkedIn that they had a marvelous time and experience with brand A, they will do. And that on itself, that compounds, right? So that's already a start. Value, add value from your product to your service, and just next towards product and service, provide them with the right experiences. And if you compound that, they will talk about you in a positive way continuously. And that's of course, spreads very quickly.
Nice. And let's say you don't have a go-to-market motion in place right now and you can build one completely from scratch in 2026. What would you do? Because you now have like legacy systems, you have people in place. Like, how would you build the ideal go-to-market motion?
Yeah, I think again, it depends. Like if you restart from zero, it's the old school play. I think you as a founder, and I think there comes the founder-led voice or founder-led motion, is you need to be that brand. That really, if you don't have any employees, you need to be that authentic voice. You need to be very clear on what you're solving for who, and do that over and over and over again. And it's nowadays with all the AI technology to amplify your voice or video and make like anything, it's easier than ever. So I still think like we need to be more creative on how we are building brands, how we are building eventually some demand gen and then convert. I think that's just one play. When it comes to, again, companies who are maybe a little bit larger, 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever million ARR plus, I really think if you want to build not from scratch, but it's like, don't make it complex. Simplify, simplify, and simplify. The sooner we see any kind of traction, we typically, and I'm also guiding now one of a very small investment in a company who doesn't have any employees yet. And my advice to them is like, don't hire multiple people at once, even though you maybe are a little bit funded or whatever. No, you really need to look. You are the voice. You need to make the works first. As a founder, you're also a go-to-market operator. If you don't understand how you acquire your first customers and you don't document that process, you don't never hire and scale. So again, it comes back towards yourself. And I think with AI, you can easily document what works and then scale what works step by step by step in any pace you like, because some founders want to be more bootstrapped and they're fine with a certain growth rate. Others want to grow more aggressively and maybe want to get funding or whatsoever. But I think that's where it starts.
Yeah, nice. And you kind of mentioned it already, word of mouth. You guys have a really big partner channel. Like, how do you see the role of referrals in 2026?
The referrals comes back towards the conversation we just had on word of mouth. If you deliver a value towards the end customer, and then eventually as well to your partner ecosystem, and they actually kind of know like, hey, if I refer this solution or service towards my customer base, I actually know without a doubt it solves their problem. And I think if you do that like on a very low-key entry, people want to refer you, right? So I think you need to have the right offering, which is simple for your partner to bring towards the customer. And you need to make sure that they can fully trust that if they refer you, work get done and problem gets solved. And of course, some enumeration of for the partner, because eventually, and that's also, I still think an entire partner ecosystem, it is a win-win. So it's not only how much can I gain by referral for myself, what is the true value I can deliver towards the partner consistently over and over time? Because again, towards that growth loop, they will come back and they will keep referring and we will grow along. So, I mean, referral also has been for ourselves a really interesting growth lever, especially my Benelux operations to grow far past 10 million ARR.
Yeah, nice. You kind of already answered the questions, but I have to ask them still because they're the most famous questions of our podcast. So what kind of advice would you give a SaaS founder who's literally just starting out from zero, growing to 10K monthly recurring revenue?
Yeah, I mean, I made this mistake myself as well when I was briefly a startup founder, but I also think to some extent everyone is in the old school days of SaaS so fixed on this recurring revenue piece. But I think if you really want to get towards 10K, 15K, I mean, on the side, I also have some coaching and I'm not yet there on 10K a month, but I'm getting there. I'm also more than halfway. Really have, and I learned it because I work very closely with a content design coach who said, like, Koen, be clear. You have one offering for one audience and focus there and really deliver exceptional value on that matter. And that's both on potentially your product, your service, whatever you're offering, or your product, but definitely as well like your service component towards that they really actually see that the impact you will bring. And I think that in combination can really actually nowadays quite easily get you towards 10K and then maybe even to 20K a month, which is a sustainable foundation to build something on, right? But I think, again, the focus, doing less but better, and that's the most difficult thing for everyone, for a founder, for a revenue leader, for myself, definitely. But like doing less but better, I think that compounds over time, but you need to be consistent and you need to hold on strong to that one. Not easy, but then I think 10K, to be honest, I mean, in 3-6 months, you can easily reach that number.
Yeah. So let's assume we have the foundation. We have not a lot in place, so less is more. We reach 10K MRR and we're going to make a huge step towards 10 million ARR. What kind of advice would you give SaaS founders here?
If you want to grow towards 10 mil, I think you can do this easily with one product, one country, one go-to-market. Regardless if you start in Belgium, Netherlands, because of course we are from TAM size, the addressable market a little bit less, but one product, one go-to-market motion, one country, and just go. Don't overhire, process over people. Don't overthink, execute. But, and that comes back towards this data model where we started with earlier, is like really understand what works, what doesn't work, and fix that. I think that's a fundamental layer of success. And for some companies, it costs 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, because everyone grows in a different way towards 10 mil. But I think that fundamental, which I just said, I think works for any company.
Nice. If people want to get in contact with you, how can they do so?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn or Substack, that's it. Like LinkedIn, I just try to share on a daily basis, like all my learnings and my RevOps. And now more and more on Substack, I want to go more in the weeds and also with AI, what I'm learning, what I'm failing, and that I'm sharing on my Substack. So these are two channels.
Is it also a reason that you can own the audience, like on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I like sharing, and for now it's fine. But I do think, and that's an advice for everyone, LinkedIn is nice, but eventually you don't build any audience, as you know, and therefore now moving to Substack, I think I have like over 30K plus on LinkedIn, but yeah, that's on LinkedIn. And now around 1,200 on Substack. But you know, those people who stay there, they're not loyal customers, but at least they're engaging and following you. So that is potential where you can start growing towards your first 10K if you really have one product, one offering, and one focus on delivering this for the customer.
Nice ending. Thank you for coming on, Koen.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching this show of the Grow Your B2B SaaS podcast. You made it till the end, so I think we can assume you like this content. If you did, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you like this content, feel free to reach out if you want to sponsor the show. If you have a specific guest in mind, if you have a specific topic you want us to cover, reach out to me on LinkedIn. More than happy to take a look at it. If you want to know more about Reditus, feel free to reach out as well. But for now, have a great day and good luck growing your B2B SaaS.